11 News starts with breaking news.
Good afternoon, everyone. Breaking now, new COVID case numbers continue to climb.
State health officials have learned of 6,669 new cases, and the Allegheny County Health Department is reporting 541 new cases since yesterday. The majority of positive test results are from the past week. The health department is also reporting 4 additional deaths, including a child with underlying medical conditions, and 2 deaths were associated with long-term care facilities.
State leaders are worried those numbers will skyrocket because of Thanksgiving, and a new stay-at-home advisory, like the one that was already in effect in Allegheny County, is now in effect for the entire state. It was just one of the new guidelines announced by Governor Wolf and Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine. On top of the stay-at-home advisory, alcohol sales will be suspended from 5 tomorrow night until Thanksgiving morning. The night before Thanksgiving is normally the biggest bar night of the year, and business owners say this new order is a massive hit.
I was looking forward to having a good night to try to recoup some of my costs I have here. You know, we have a lot of food, we have a lot of staff.
So here are some other restrictions. Indoor dining capacity remains capped at 50% if the business has self-certified with the state. Employees must telework when possible starting Friday, and retail businesses can remain open at 75% capacity. You can find more guidance on WPXI.com and the WPXI News app.
This is normally the biggest travel week of the year, and despite the new restrictions, Pittsburgh International will be busy over the next few days.
Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond has more on what you can expect if you are flying for the holiday.
As soon as you walk through these doors, you need to put on a mask. It's mandatory. If you forget one or if it breaks, you can pick one up at that information desk, which is right before this security checkpoint. Once you get in line to go through security, you'll notice social distancing stickers. Clear barriers separate airport employees from passengers. Highly touched surfaces such as bins and the handrails going down the escalators are being cleaned regularly. And check out these cleaning robots. They're self-driving scrubbers. They've been testing these out for the last year, and it's a partnership with Carnegie Robotics, a tech firm based in the Strip District.
We really are the first airport in the U.S. to have this special UV disinfection technique. So really, when you think about it, you have the traditional chemicals, which are disinfecting the floors, but it's following it up with the UV light after it. So yes, people will see those driving around the terminal, driverless. And they are actually, we've named them after important aviation figures to give them a personality as well.
Also remember, the state implemented a 14-day quarantine or a negative COVID-19 test result for anyone coming into Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh International says it's not going to be asking passengers to show a negative test result. Also, in case you're wondering, COVID-19 testing is not available at the airport. Following this announcement from the state, as well as the CDC's recommendation to Americans to not travel this Thanksgiving, TSA said that they screened the highest number of passengers since mid-March. So just how many passengers is Pittsburgh International Airport expecting to see this Thanksgiving? And what's the busiest travel day? It's different than previous years. We'll share those answers at 5. Reporting from the Pittsburgh International Airport, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
More clouds are going to be moving in this afternoon.
And if you plan to hit the road tomorrow, there could be rain in the forecast. Meteorologist Scott Harbaugh tracking it all in Severe Weather Center 11. Scott?
You know, those clouds are already starting to stream in. You can see that now the dimmed light over the city of Pittsburgh with our live tower cam shot. 40 degrees. This is high to mid-level clouds, so some of that sunlight still making it through. Good news is no wind, so no wind chill to worry about. Here comes the cloud cover on the visible satellite, and this goes back a ways too. So clouds most of the afternoon. That will definitely douse the sunlight. 45 degrees, the temperature at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. If you want to get the kids outside today, just make sure they have a jacket. Today, dry. Tomorrow, not so dry. I'm tracking when the first drops of rain arrive and how that could impact your plans moving around town. I'll have that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Breaking now, in the past hour, the Pennsylvania Department of State announced the presidential election results have been certified, and Governor Wolf has signed the certificate of ascertainment for electors for Joe Biden. And here are the certified vote totals. More than 3,458,000 votes for President-elect Biden. More than 3,377,000 votes for President Donald Trump. A difference of 80,555 votes.
President-elect Joe Biden can finally get his transition rolling. He was sent a letter from the General Services Administration giving him access to millions of dollars in federal funds and other resources for his transition. The letter denied the GSA had been under pressure from the White House to delay the process. This afternoon, the president-elect is also introducing the cabinet members who will take office with him in 57 days. But that doesn't mean the president is giving up his fight. NBC's Tracy Potts has the latest from Washington.
Ascertainment, determining an apparent presidential winner, opens the door to more than $7 million in government funds for the Biden transition and allows them to coordinate with the federal government. General Services Director Emily Murphy insists her delayed decision was not political. And while President Trump said for the first time he'll direct federal employees to comply, he added that legal challenges are moving full speed ahead, and he will never concede.
The election was stolen and President Trump won by a landslide.
President-elect Biden also moving forward, appearing this afternoon with newly announced cabinet nominees. He makes history with two never before held by women, former Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen as Treasury Secretary and Avril Haines as Director of National Intelligence, plus Alejandro Mayorkas, the first immigrant and Latino to serve as Homeland Security Secretary.
He's basically telling the rest of the world, we are back. This is our A-team.
Biden telling the nation's mayors,
we're here for you. We're going to listen to you and work with you.
More nominations expected today. Former diplomats Linda Thomas Greenfield as ambassador to the United Nations, Jake Sullivan as national security advisor, longtime foreign policy advisor Tony Blinken as Secretary of State, and former Secretary of State John Kerry as a special envoy on climate. You'll recognize a lot of those names from the Obama administration. We're told that Foreign Service and national security posts are being announced today. The economic team likely early next week. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
And tune into NBC Nightly News tonight. Lester Holt sits down with President-elect Joe Biden in an exclusive interview. This is Biden's first since the election, and you'll see it only on Channel 11 beginning at 6:30 tonight.
Our crews followed Pittsburgh police to 3 crime scenes since late last night, including 2 carjackings. Police got reports of a carjacking on Suncrest Street right off of Brownsville Road late last night. They found a man shot in Pittsburgh's Knoxville neighborhood. Medics got him to the hospital, but he is in critical condition. They have not arrested anyone in that case, but they did arrest 3 teens after another carjacking at gunpoint in Fineview. Officers spotted the car on Sunset Avenue in Spring Hill this morning. They followed it for about 3 minutes before the teens got out and ran. Police arrested one of them right away on Reeks Way. It's a tiny street in Spring Garden where we saw 7 police cars. They had to chase the other 2 teen suspects before catching them. And right before that, we spotted half a dozen police cars outside the BP on West Liberty Avenue in Beachview. Employees told police a man came in. They ended up giving him money before he left. They say he left in a black sedan and he was heading toward West Liberty.
We've learned state police in Fayette County have charged a man with homicide. 28-year-old Megan Massey was found dead this past weekend inside her home in North Union Township. State police say they took Joseph Thomas into custody. According to police paperwork, Massey was shot in the head. We also learned why police responded to her home.
We were contacted by a family member of the victim, and that's what got the investigation rolling.
Police say Massey was home alone at the time. Neighbors say she moved in about a year ago. A SWAT situation came to a peaceful end in Crafton Heights. Police were called to Middletown Road just before 3:30 this morning. Neighbors said they saw a man drag a woman into a home there from a car. SWAT was called because officers said the man had weapons and a baby was also inside the home. The man gave himself up after police contacted him and were told no one was hurt.
Firefighters put themselves in danger every time they go out on a call, and even more so in the winter. Now the pandemic has only complicated matters. Channel 11's Mike Holden has more on the growing concern from firefighters and why they're more worried about what could happen this week.
Well, the big concern is over Thanksgiving, the celebrations that follow, and then the after effects of potentially having to respond to further incidents. Pittsburgh fire officials say they are ready. They are staying on their A game, but they have a big message to you this afternoon. Think twice about your actions moving forward. The Pittsburgh Bureau of Fire is typically used to responding to cooking mishaps on Thanksgiving Day. This year, their fear, though, is what is not visible to the naked eye, and that is the coronavirus. The president of the Pittsburgh Firefighters Union says they are worried about the small family gatherings and the after effects of a potential spike in COVID-19 cases locally. The exposure in the field, responding to calls, coupled with being around loved ones, has made the firefighters' job even more complex. They've had at least 35 positive cases within the department so far this year. The union president is now pleading with the community to think twice about their actions on Thanksgiving and to not intermingle, especially for the sake of the first responders who may be directly impacted.
As cases go up in our community, it increases the number of tests that are needed, and it will slow down the turnaround time for those results, which delays our members from getting back to work if we don't know that they're clear from a test or not.
And the union president does tell me they have adequate personal protective equipment and they are ready to go moving forward. We're now asking him about further concerns and his recommendations to the Pittsburgh community as they plan to perhaps gather with their family members. That story's coming up for Channel 11 News starting at 5 o'clock tonight. Reporting this afternoon from the North Shore, Mike Holden, Channel 11 News.
Anticipation is building for the big primetime matchup between the Steelers and Ravens on Thanksgiving night right here on Channel 11. And as of now, the game will go on despite Baltimore players testing positive for COVID. The Ravens put out a statement saying the organization had positive COVID tests and was shutting down its facilities. The head coach confirmed both of the team's running backs are among those who have tested positive, and we're working to learn if there are more cases. The NFL has told us there is no change to the status of Thursday's game at this point. Channel 11 is the only place you'll catch the rematch between the divisional rivals. You can watch the Black and Gold Zone warm-up show on WPXI now at 6:30. Then at 7, it's the Black and Gold pregame show on Channel 11. Kickoff is at 8:20, and then stay tuned for the postgame show.
The owner of a local ice cream shop is one of the latest COVID-19 victims. What one of his workers tells us about how that loss will impact their community.
It's a work in progress. Channel 11 is seeing how the revamped version of the Strip District's produce terminal is finally coming together.
Plus, I'm updating Storm Tracker to pinpoint when rain is going to force you inside over the next couple of days.
State officials say the new COVID-19 restrictions we told you about are aimed at keeping hospitals from being overwhelmed. And it comes down to case counts and the statewide positivity rate. And that rate is more than 11%. That has state officials worried hospitals could run out of ICU beds by next month if changes aren't made. Still, the lead medical directors at UPMC and Allegheny Health Network are confident they are well prepared.
We've looked at the models, we've looked at our supplies, we've planned for much more demand. And I think we're much smarter now, 8 months into the pandemic, about using each one of those resources.
We have a lot of capacity to expand our ICU beds, our ventilator capacity, our regular nursing floor capacity, which we are doing.
Our region is seeing its highest level of COVID-related hospitalizations since the early days of the pandemic.
I think it's definitely a huge loss for this whole community.
A black ribbon now hangs outside of this popular Beaver County ice cream stand in honor of its late owner. He is one of the latest people to fall victim to the COVID-19 virus. Channel 11's Jillian Hartman spoke with one of his employees who says this community won't be the same without him.
Well, here outside Young's Custard Stand, people from all over this community have been dropping off balloons, cards, some flowers, and candles, showing their support for the beloved longtime owner here who just lost his battle to COVID-19.
We always know him as the ice cream man that always served our milkshakes and cones, so it'll be a little different not having him in that window every day.
Lydia Palmer works at Young's Custard Stand along Route 68 in Rochester. It's been a staple in Beaver County for more than 70 years.
I mean, the lines are always out to the parking lot, and there's always so many people wanting ice cream.
The owner, Paul Young, better known as Wendy, has been running the business with his kids for the last 52 years. But last week, his family says he passed away at the age of 79 from coronavirus complications.
Hearing about him passing so quickly from it, it kind of just put, perspective on how serious it is.
Palmer lives down the road from the custard stand and has known Wendy her entire life. She says he was like a grandfather to her.
I didn't really grow up with any grandpas, so he kind of filled that spot.
Palmer says she will miss his sense of humor the most.
I think it's definitely a huge loss for this whole community.
She tells me the custard stand will not be the same without Wendy, but his legacy will live on. In Beaver County, I'm Jillian Hartman, Channel 11 News.
And who had a big impact there. The Light of Life Rescue Mission continues its tradition of handing out Thanksgiving meals to those in need. Volunteers packed more than 1,800 Thanksgiving meal boxes for families yesterday. They'll be distributed through 42 partner organizations. We spoke with the volunteer coordinator who said they're thankful for the community's support.
The Pittsburgh area is so generous, and we're so grateful for donors that give us all of the things that we need. And so we've been able to get all the items for all 1,800 of these boxes.
Light of Life will serve a traditional Thanksgiving meal on Thursday, and meals will be served outside in a heated tent.
It's a great place. A big announcement from Mario Lemieux today. When you give, Mario will match. The Penguins legend and owner says he will personally match all holiday donations to the Mario Lemieux Foundation, up to $500,000. This is through the end of the year. Lemieux and his wife created the foundation after Mario's battle with Hodgkin's disease. During the past 27 years, the foundation has gifted more than $31 million to cancer research and patient care.
This is new video of crews preparing the streets of New York for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. This year, the only place to see the parade is on TV. The number of people involved has been cut by 75%. There will be masks and social distancing, and those trademark Macy's helium balloons will be tethered to vehicles instead of being walked by dozens of balloon handlers. The parade kicks off at 9 Thanksgiving morning right here on WPXI. And as you make your plans for the weekend, we hope you'll watch the WPXI Holiday Parade on Saturday. The live parade was canceled, but Channel 11 has combed through 40 years of Pittsburgh's tradition. You can see all the stars, bands, balloons, and costume characters Saturday at 9 a.m. on Channel 11 or streaming on our WPXI Now app.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
A little chilly as you step outside today. That sun starting to get doused by a little cloud cover. 40 degrees right now in Pittsburgh, 41 in Butler, and 39 right now in Washington. Here's that cloud cover streaming in. Visible satellite. You can see the brighter white back to the west, indicating the thicker cloud cover. So as we go through the afternoon, that cloud cover is just going to get thicker. Cloud deck's going to lower a little bit. Pretty overcast by the time we get to 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. Temperatures will be stuck in the mid-40s today. Might top out around 45, 46 degrees and then slowly peel back tonight. The good thing about clouds at night, it keeps the heat close to the surface, kind of acts as a blanket, so we won't drop off too far tonight, maybe mid-30s across the area by first thing tomorrow morning. And again, more clouds than not tonight, so heading outdoors this evening, probably jacket weather tomorrow morning, same deal as you're making your way about. Now, during the day tomorrow, rain will start to develop, mainly during the afternoon. I think most areas are dry during the morning hours, but start to get wet during the afternoon. Let me show you this hour by hour with Storm Tracker so you can plan your day. Have anything you need to do outside tomorrow morning, definitely the better time of day. So put the clock in motion. By the time we get to noon, Butler, Beaver, North starting to get a couple showers, and the rest of the area will start to see these pull in during the afternoon. Now by 4 o'clock, could still be dry in Greensburg and Uniontown and Morgantown, but then rain really overtakes the area after 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And heading into tomorrow evening, pretty wet across the area. We'll see bands of rain come through during the night tomorrow night. And right now, the dynamics look good enough that we could hear a clap of thunder southwest of Washington or southwest of Waynesburg tomorrow evening before showers still linger for the first thing Thursday morning. But most of the day Thursday for Thanksgiving will be dry. Rainfall amounts tomorrow and Thursday, most areas just about a ½ inch, that ½ inch cutoff line. Right in the Pittsburgh area, northwest of that, maybe slightly more than a ½ inch. Southeast of that, generally just a little less than a ½ inch of rain. So showers for Thanksgiving morning. Rest of the day looks dry, although it's going to be cloudy. 55 for the high temperature. And keep in mind, normal high this time of year, about 47, 48 degrees. So 50s mild for the end of November. Ravens Steelers right here on WPXI Thursday night. Weather looks good for football. Temperature kickoff in the low 50s. With mostly cloudy skies. Dry on Friday for those that will be venturing out to do some shopping on Friday. 54 for the high temperature. And most of the weekend will be dry. We'll see a few showers possibly Saturday, Sunday, a high of 51. Coming up next half hour, travel impacts for flight if you're heading out of town. I'll have that for you coming up.
The newest casino in our area is open for business. Channel 11 is there as people wait to cash in.
Black Friday deals have already started. The warning about cyber thieves ready to steal your money.
Well, as you get ready for Black Friday shopping, so are scammers. 2 years ago, 5% of shopping websites were actually fake, and it has only gotten worse. So what can you do? First, look at the actual email or web address and research them. Make sure they're legit. Police say if you have any doubt, just don't buy, and they say that there's little that they can do after you make that payment.
A $600 million mishap could impact the roads you travel and thousands of jobs in Pennsylvania. State Senator Lindsey Williams says PennDOT requested the money for road repairs, but in the budget that just passed, it was left out. As a result, hundreds of big road projects across Pennsylvania, like the Neville Island Bridge repair, are up in the air. And Senator Williams says the clock is ticking.
And we have a holiday in between. We have days to fix this.
Lawmakers are trying to draft a new bill to provide that money. We'll keep you posted on what plays out.
General Motors will recall about 6 million pickups and SUVs to replace potentially dangerous Takata airbag inflators. The automaker has petitioned the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration 4 times since 2016 to avoid recalls, but owners responded by accusing the company of putting profits over safety. Today, the NHTSA denied GM's petitions. GM is expected to recall full-size pickup truck SUVs from 2007 through 2014 model years.
She saw the best in everyone.
A local school secretary dies from COVID. The message her son has for people who still aren't wearing masks.
I am addicted to heroin and then I am pregnant. Okay, so.
Well, she can laugh about it now, but how she struggled and eventually succeeded through a center that has helped hundreds of mothers and children. Chilly today, and it was sunny earlier, but I guess more clouds than sun coming up this afternoon.
Yeah, meteorologist Scott Harbaugh is in Severe Weather Center now with the forecast. Scott?
Yeah, this day started off very bright, abundant sunshine. Very cold temperatures this morning in the 20s. We have rebounded a bit. Most areas about 40, 41 degrees right now. We'll top out at 45 with those clouds continuing to thicken up the rest of the afternoon and into the evening. Rain is on the way. I'm putting together hour-by-hour timing on when you'll see the most rain through the holiday and the best times to try to get outside. I'll have that for you coming up this half hour.
Over the last several weeks, schools in our area have really been juggling in-person and virtual learning, and now the Department of Health is stepping in. They've issued new advisories, and if they are not followed, districts will be forced into remote learning. If a school is in a county and has had substantial COVID risk for 2 weeks, they may have to go virtual. If they want to stay open, they have to sign a special form that says they will follow all COVID protocols like mask wearing and social distancing. If they don't sign, the state will step in.
Fought extremely hard. But God called her home. She's in a much better place now.
That son sharing his heartbreak after losing his mother to COVID.
Dana Hall worked in the Jeanette School District for 10 years. Her family says she loved making a difference in the students' lives. Dana was diagnosed with COVID 2 weeks ago. She started fighting the virus at home until things got worse, and she was eventually put on a ventilator.
She saw the best in everyone. She taught us everything that we know. It's very real. I would encourage people to wear their mask. I can't tell you what to do, but I would encourage you to.
The Jeanette School District had confirmed COVID cases when Hall was diagnosed, but her family is not sure if that's where she was exposed.
Channel 11 has covered this struggle during the pandemic as families tried to balance unemployment, their health, their homes. It's why UPMC McGee allowed Channel 11 morning news anchor Catherine Amenta exclusive access to its Pregnancy Recovery Center. She learned how it is truly here to help.
That's a lot to figure out when you're 18.
At 31 years old, Rachel Radke says she's now strong enough to look back and share her battle with addiction and mental health.
I'm getting ready to start college, and I am addicted to heroin, and then I am pregnant. Okay, so it's like major disaster.
The Mount Lebanon mother of 3 says she doesn't shy away from remembering those lonely years in 2008. Rachel was pregnant with her oldest son, Asher, and she was desperately trying to stay clean. She went on methadone to help.
I faced a lot of stigma in the hospital, making some little snide comments about the choices I had made.
For 17 long days, Asher stayed in the hospital for detox.
It was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. It was awful.
Eventually, Asher went home a healthy baby boy. And 5 years later, his brother Isaac came along. But Rachel's ups and downs continued.
Other times it was I just gave up because I was totally exasperated with feeling like crap for a decade and, just gave up and self-medicated.
Then everything changed in 2019. Baby number 3 was on the way. Rachel had a job, she was doing well in school, and was staying clean with the help of Suboxone. But she was scared it wouldn't last. And that's when her doctor recommended UPMC McGee's Pregnancy Recovery Center. Tucked away in this peaceful office space, the center's reach cannot be measured. Since 2014, their doctors, nurses, and social workers have tailored outpatient support for women, from mental health services to finding a job to managing a happy and healthy pregnancy.
It's important to kind of normalize the pregnancy and how excited they are to be a mom and how excited they are to have a child.
Dr. Elizabeth Kranz says the key is tearing down the stigma.
We should have the same response when we learn that somebody's on insulin for their diabetes, that we learn that somebody's on methadone for their opioid use disorder.
And she says the program's proof is in their newborns.
It's really changed the entire dynamic, and we have seen our treatment rates for the baby just totally plummet. Less than 5% of babies are now need to receive medical therapy.
For Rachel, her daily battle has turned into a routine monthly check-in at the center. and now she's using her newfound freedom to help others.
I know that the PRC, it's just improved my outcomes tremendously. And I know it's done that for other women. And there's no reason to, be afraid or ashamed or to suffer or be sick when there's other choices out there.
To date, the Pregnancy Recovery Center has helped more than 700 women and 200 babies. And their services are available to all women, even if they're not pregnant. For more information about making an appointment, go to our website, WPXI.com. Catherine Amenta, Channel 11 News.
People are not responding to jury duty. Court officials say that soaring coronavirus cases are likely to blame for the reluctance to show. Last week, about 24 U.S. district courts across the country suspended jury trials and grand jury proceedings because of jury duty no-shows. This comes as courts are under pressure to resume trials to deal with a backlog of cases created by the pandemic.
A group of more than 100 economists are calling on Congress to send more COVID relief checks to Americans. The group says that the checks are an essential tool for preventing poverty. Democrats have pushed for more checks, but Senate Republicans cut the checks from their last proposal. Meantime, 12 million people could lose federal benefits the day after Christmas if Congress does not pass a virus relief deal. That's according to the Century Foundation, which is a progressive think tank. Government data shows a growing number of people are finding it tough to afford basic everyday expenses. The Century Foundation says Americans need Congress to extend those expiring unemployment programs.
That unemployment check of $310 per week is no one's getting rich off of that, but it is that thin line between holding it together and potentially falling into a hole of poverty that could impact you for a lifetime.
Congress also needs to address a government funding issue to avoid a shutdown by the end of the year.
Westmoreland County now has a casino. Channel 11 was there this morning when Live Casino Pittsburgh in Hempfield opened to the public for the very first time.
I've been looking forward to it. You don't get a chance to do this very often or at all, so we'll take a shot.
The casino has 750 slot machines and a couple dozen table games. They're taking coronavirus safety precautions, including plexiglass dividers, temperature checks, and regularly cleaning high traffic areas. We're getting an inside look at the changes made to a Pittsburgh landmark.
We want it as eclectic as possible because we want to draw all people.
The plan to revamp the Strip District's produce terminal.
Could you come up with one word to describe this year? Well, don't feel bad, neither can the experts. Coming up, the words that shaped 2020. Jeopardy will start production again next week following Alex Trebek's death. A permanent new host has not been announced, but the show plans to return to the studio with a series of guest hosts from within the Jeopardy family, starting with Ken Jennings, who claimed the title of Jeopardy's greatest of all time earlier this year. The last week of episodes that Alex recorded before his death will air the week of January 4th, and the first week of guest-hosted shows will air the week of January 11th.
There has been a surprising upside to all of the months at home. Americans are spending less and putting more money in their savings. With fewer dinners out, vacations, and shopping, the money is adding up, and Americans are holding on to the cash. It's a habit financial advisors say you shouldn't break when things start to get back to normal.
Experts usually say have 3 to 6 months of emergency funds on hand. But now, given the pandemic and the uncertainties we're facing this winter, experts are recommending 6 to 12 months if you can.
Personal finance experts say if you're not sure whether you want to buy something, wait a day and see if you change your mind.
If 2020 were a word, what would it be? No 4-letter words allowed now. The Oxford English Dictionary had a hard time deciding on just one word, so it is changing things up this year and choosing different words for different months. Bushfire for January, when Australia suffered its worst fire season on record. Acquittal for February, when President Donald Trump's impeachment trial ended. And then starting in March, words like COVID-19 and lockdown. And in June, the phrase Black Lives Matter. Climate emergency was the word of the year in 2019. In 2018, it was toxic.
It's a work in progress, but Channel 11 is seeing how the revamped version of the Strip District's produce terminal is finally coming together.
Clouds rolling in now. Rain will follow. I'm tracking how much of your holiday is going to be wet.
It's a building the length of 5 football fields and a popular Pittsburgh shopping destination, so it's no wonder transforming the old produce terminal in the Strip District is quite the undertaking. The building is ready for tenants to start creating their new spaces.
And the first one is getting ready to open soon. Channel 11 News anchor Jennifer Tomazic got an inside look at what's moving in.
The sounds of progress inside the Strip District Terminal are music to the neighborhood's ears.
Vibrancy is the vision. We want to bring people back to the terminal, bring people back to Smallman Street.
Nighttime entertainment has been happening for months outside of the newly revamped produce terminal. But we took it a step further and got you inside during the day to see what it looks like now.
This will be the fine wine and good spirits.
Dean Welch with McCaffrey, the developer of the project, took us on a tour of the first business to move in.
We have painted the steel, but you can still see that the structure is celebrated. The light comes in from the clear story windows.
It's on track to open by Christmas. The pandemic only pushed back construction by about a month. And the bulk of the work is done to make the terminal home to shops, restaurants, and offices.
Historically, the fruit vendors would pin these doors up during the day.
Inside this part of the building, it's a bit more raw. But this is where Welch says 30 to 50 businesses will put up walls and make this space their own. So far, there's a brewery, a garden store, and a golf shop planning to move in.
We want it as eclectic as possible because we want to draw all people. And with so much residential coming to this neighborhood, we want service-oriented tenants as well.
And for those who don't live in the Strip, there's a parking lot with 200 spaces out back. And because the building is the length of 5 football fields, there are passageways to easily get to the front, complete with hints of the past.
Preserve what we thought was so special about this, which is its history, its legacy.
The produce terminal dates back to 1926, when it was built for merchants to buy produce after it came off the train. According to the city URA website, when the economics of food changed, the produce left, and by the 70s, the building was partially vacant. There was talk of tearing some or all of it down, but the URA and McCaffrey reached an agreement to save the produce terminal. And Channel 11 was there in June of 2019 when development plans were unveiled.
We've made tremendous progress.
The committed tenants should be open by next spring, and Welch says the entire Strip District terminal should be full and open by next summer.
We're excited to be a part of the community and really have this be a staple to Pittsburgh.
In the Strip District, Jennifer Tomazic, Channel 11 News.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
November Christmas is in the air this afternoon. Some temperatures have still not made it back to 40 degrees, including Franklin, Clarion, and Brookville. Butler's rated 41 degrees, Pittsburgh 40, currently 41 in Waynesburg and in Greensburg. We're not going to go a whole lot farther rest of the afternoon because of the fact we have that cloud cover streaming in, but we will be dry today. If you go sunrise to sunset, we get about 9 hours and 45 minutes of daytime. We'll do all of it dry today. Then tomorrow rain moves in mainly for the afternoon. So morning hours dry, afternoon looks pretty wet. And Thursday, there'll be some spotty showers primarily in the morning. So Thursday afternoon for Thanksgiving, should be able to get outside for a little bit if you want to. Overnight tonight, mostly cloudy, down to 36 for an overnight low. Seasonably cold for this time of the year. Now tomorrow we're going to be warmer. A little bit of a southerly wind is going to kick in tomorrow at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So temperatures tomorrow will bounce into the mid-50s. Unfortunately, rain starts coming during the afternoon. It will be scattered at first, but it could cause some travel issues, especially the farther west you go. I want to take a snapshot of some of the airport delays tomorrow. And minor delays are possible. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Could be some moderate delays back through Cincinnati early in the afternoon because of some heavier rain. Most of our rain during the daylight hours here tomorrow will be light. Here's Storm Tracker at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Showers just working in to Mercer County, Venango County, extreme western parts of Lawrence County. And then by the time we get to 4 or 5 tomorrow afternoon, rain begins to overtake much of the area. The farther east you live, the drier you're going to stay tomorrow. Farther west you live, the more rain you're going to see tomorrow. Everyone sees rain tomorrow night, and then late tomorrow night into early Thursday, it tapers off to scattered showers. But if you have things going on early on Thursday morning, there'll be a lot of clouds around, a couple of showers to start the day, and eventually those showers will wane on Thanksgiving Day. So you start the morning off with some showers, just mainly cloudy skies during the course of the afternoon, and temperatures most of the day on Thanksgiving Day stuck in the 50s. We'll make mid-50s before we begin to peel back in the evening. Steelers-Ravens Thursday night right here on Channel 11. Mostly cloudy, 51 degrees at kickoff. Weather should not be a factor. Could be a little bit of a breeze out of the northwest but not terrible. You folks doing some Black Friday shopping on Friday? Looking like a pretty good day. Nice mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Temperature at noon, about 52 degrees. 5 p.m. 51. We'll top out in the mid-50s, not just tomorrow, but Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday, Sunday as well. Your 5-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Just a couple stray showers on Saturday. Most of the day will be dry. Sunday looking pretty good too. Partly sunny skies and a high temperature of 51 degrees.
All right, thanks so much. And now here's local steals and deals. Lisa Robertson.
I have something today that's going to help get you organized, help clean up your house, and be popular with every member of your family. Wait, it's not the lottery. It's actually the MC Squares whiteboarding system. And I love this idea because I have to write things down or I forget. I write them down and I lose them. Do you do that? This is a system that is going to enable you to not write down things on paper and then throw it away, because how many millions of people are putting paper in a landfill every day for that? But to literally write it down, peel off the back, stick it where you want it, write what you want, erase when you want, write again. 2,000 times. How amazing is that? So you take the little backing off, and at first I thought, that's not going to stick to anything, but look at this. Sticks, just like that. And it's not that sticky regular adhesive, so it's not going to damage something. This will stick to any shiny surface. How great is that? Now you can put them all up on your mirror and you can get your whole presentation in your head. You can put them on your computer screen. You can put them on the front of the file cabinets. Your kids can put these in their room and you're not going to have to worry about, oh no, don't stick tape to that, right? You don't have to worry about any of that. So I love the fact that this helps you get organized and you have all kinds of great options. So you have these great sticky notes, you have these lists, you have the whiteboard where you can do drawings, you can do notes, you can do lists, you have calendars, you have markers, you have the whiteboard cleaner, you have everything that you need to really be organized. You know what? Our homes were always crowded. Now we're working from home, the kids are going to school from home, and we're living at home. So that home has to be 3 times as efficient in the same amount of space. This is a great way to do it. Right now on localsteals.com, these are 35% off, and I guarantee if you are an artist or an organizer or a student or just somebody who loves great ideas for your home, you are gonna love the MC Squares whiteboarding system.
Becky was just talking about how much she wants to try this stuff right here. Sheetz is launching a vanilla donut-flavored beer called Project Happy Holidays. It's made by Wicked Weed Brewing Company.
Of course.
It is brewed using glazed vanilla donut holes. You'll be able to get your hands on it starting on Friday.
I'll buy you a whole bunch. Getting pulled over by police can make any day a bad day, but that was definitely not the case in the Bronx. The NYPD's rapid response team was out on a mission yesterday, making turkey stops, pulling over drivers, giving them a warning, and handing them a turkey.
It's scary. It's so bright. I'm going to cook my turkey for Thanksgiving Day.
Whole pandemic and COVID, I know a lot of people are struggling.
You're watching the news and seeing the long lines at these food banks. We all collectively came together and said, how can we surprise people?
Oh, that's so nice. Each of the turkey stops were just for minor infractions like an obstructed view.
That is pretty great. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5.
And you can get breaking news updates anytime on our streaming apps by searching WPXI on Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire. Have a great day.